Good afternoon, good morning, good day. Test. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 5, 6, 7. Good morning, Regina. We are live here. What are we on? Friday morning, May 23rd, I believe it is today. Quite the eventful week, shall we say. For anybody that hasn't been following on social media, where have you been? It's been one hell of a week. I have no words. I have no words for what went down this week. I just honestly am surprised that it would ever get to this point. I am shocked, I am saddened that my own family would do something like what they did, or allegedly. But I guess this is still the dirty world of politics, even though I am quote-unquote irrelevant and insignificant by those individuals that continually harass me 24/7 online, and yet they have no problems going to the extent of getting something like this done. What this is, it is called a warrant to apprehend, subsection 19.2 of the Mental Health Services Act of Saskatchewan, which will be changing because of the fact that it is way too easy to abuse this. I understand there's a purpose for it. However, it is far too easy to abuse the process, and it is far too easy, obviously, based on what happened this week, to hold someone against their will, shall we say. For anybody that doesn't know about the Mental Health Services Act, which a lot of people don't, because hell, I didn't even know half the stuff that existed there. Had I known, I would have known what my rights were when I was rudely interrupted this week on my way. I was literally driving on my way to Access Communications to speak to talk of the town on motorsports that are happening this beautiful summer in Regina and in southern Saskatchewan. Unfortunately, I never got a chance to get there because of what happened. To give you an idea, it was about 11:15 on Wednesday morning. Another beautiful morning. I was planning on heading out to go talk to the town. Then head out for this beautiful day, top down, all the way, enjoying sunshine, enjoying Mother Nature. Mother Nature is about the best medication any individual could ever have or ever ask for, whether you're in a mental health situation or not. A pill is not medication, in my opinion. A pill, we won't even go there. There's purposes to everything in life. Mother Nature, a good support group, all of those things are far better medication than any pill ever will be. I want to thank everyone. I am unbelievably surprised and so happy about the responses I've received on my personal Facebook from some very good close friends, long lost friends, people that I haven't even met in person yet, that have expressed their support for everything that's gone down. I am shocked, and I am so pleased that I have such a tremendous support group. It's unfortunate that my own flesh and blood doesn't share that opinion, but that's life. So here I am on my way to Access Communications, leaving my beautiful suburb here in southeast Regina, in Greens on Gardner, which I've had stalkers reveal that, so I'm not going to keep that a secret anymore, where I live in Greens on Gardner. I'm leaving our beautiful suburb here. Have the top up because, I want to protect my hair, to go on TV. I'm leaving, going down one street, I see marked police car, the Ford Explorer, down the road. I saw them, and I'm like, what are the chances they're in the neighborhood for me? Who knows? So then I saw him do a U-turn there, and so I thought, well, I'm going to go down the way I was going to go, but I'm going to go slow, and I'm going to look, and I'm going to see. So I pull over to stop at the next intersection, and I look down the road, And of course the Explorer turns down the road towards me. So I thought, well, okay, fine, I'll pull over here and I will wait to see what he's going to do. Little did I realize then he would come around the corner, turn his lights on, come out and say, oh, by the way, Mr. Novak, we're going to have to arrest you based on a mental health warrant. I was shocked. Unfortunately not surprised to some extent because of this person online who's too scared to use their real name under YQR Barrister, who has been dumb enough to talk publicly about the fact that he has been working every angle to do exactly this. This just shows you the mentality of some of these individuals out there, that they're so obsessed with my life that they have to create parody accounts, they have to watch my activity 24/7. I've blocked them from every social media aspect I could possibly block them from. They're still obsessed with everything that I do. If I am so irrelevant and insignificant, ignore me, regardless. So this was, I knew it was coming down the pipelines, I didn't know when. However, it made perfect sense as to why it happened on Wednesday. I will reveal to the world today, because I don't think many people know this, and I honestly didn't think it was a big deal. I didn't want to talk about it because why would I want to admit that I have a relation to Brent Schoberg? Ugh. My dear little baby sister, Angie Novak Schoberg, is married to Tyler Schoberg, who apparently is some relation of some sort, and I really could give two shits of how they're related, but Brent Schoberg and Tyler Schoberg, they both grew up in Moose Jaw, yada yada yada. Probably cousins, nephews, whatever. I don't really give a shit. The fact of the matter is they're related, or allegedly related. So, when you really sit back and think about that, and you realize that Brent Schoberg is also the one that has been under investigation for 2 months and now has been subsequently shut down for criminal charges under Section 123 of the Canadian Criminal Code under municipal corruption. It was pretty cut, clear, and dry. Unfortunately, Constable Tyler Raw didn't think that was enough evidence. So be it. Any other jurisdiction in North America, in the world, would have saw that and they would have at least investigated. I mean, to tell you this, if it was in Toronto, they sure as hell wouldn't just have said, oh, not a big deal. Anyways, so, yeah. There's the big reveal. I am by marriage in some weird fucked up way related to Brent Schoberg. There's your big reveal for number one. Number two is the fact that even though I am technically not apparently allowed to know information, according to the provincial courts, which is contrary to what actually states right here in the Mental Health Services Act, that I'm not allowed to know who reported it or who put the false information, which is, I will state this for a matter of fact. The information contained in this warrant are false. I will not get into details on that. I am working on that right now with my lawyer, and it's not the Sweatpants Mafia, to get that taken care of. Regardless, the fact of the matter is, I can say without question, and if my sister wants to go after me or my mother wants to go after me, go right ahead. That this was filed in Moose Jaw. Judge Matsala, there's only so many people in Moose Jaw that would do it, and apparently the public impression is that only family members can do this, which is wrong, because right there in Section 19, subsection 1 of the Mental Health Services Act, it says a person. It doesn't say a blood relative. It does not say anything of it. So anybody in their right mind, or I shouldn't say in right mind, anybody can do this if they chose to. Which, if I was a vengeful person, which I am not, I could go and do this exact thing against some of these individuals that have been obsessed with my life for the last 2 years, that have been obsessed with every living thing that I do. The ones that have also created parody accounts. I could easily, there's no question. This is enough information right there just to get them arrested and detained for 3 weeks to go under psychiatric evaluation. But I'm not. I'm not vengeful. As much as I'd love to do it, I'm not vengeful. I'm not like that. I will not stoop to that level. Just so that everybody's knowing. So, my dear sister has been obsessed with my life for the last 7 years. rightfully or wrongfully, the fact of the matter is she judges our life, my wife and my life, on what she sees on social media. We removed her from our personal Facebook for that purpose alone, because of the fact that she kept on judging us on how we're spending our money, or how we're eating out, or how we're doing this. The fact of the matter is we're dinks. Dual income, no children. We can do whatever the fuck we want with our money, and that's our choice. My sister, unfortunately, it seems that she must be jealous, or what the deal is. She's got 4 children, she's in an abusive relationship, and apparently not self-admitted alcoholic yet, but he... Regardless, I'm not going to get into details, I'm not going to try and stoop to her level. So she sees this online persona that I have developed over a number of months on Twitter, because I've removed her from my personal Facebook, so the only time she's ever seen this is on Twitter. And unfortunately, she felt that it was appropriate to go and take this activity and report it to the proper authorities to get a mental health warrant issued. I'm confident that it wasn't only on her volition. It was probably encouraged to her, or my mother, or whoever, by a relative, and I stated 5 minutes previous to this who that relative could be. Mr. Brent Schoberg, the chief, the head of the Regina Revitalization Initiative, the stadium project that was just happened to be announced yesterday. What this mental health warrant could have done, could have locked me in to the hospital for up to 3 weeks for psychiatric evaluation, and thus I would not have been able to publicly criticize the stadium announcement that came yesterday. We won't even get into details on that. That's a whole other broadcast. I also wouldn't be able to address on Monday at City Council the tax breaks that are being proposed for Pat Fiacco and a number of other individuals that own land over in Devonia Park, for example. I mean, there's more than that, but those are ones that I'm sure that they don't want people to raise a stink about, and I'm thinking they're hoping that people just ignore it. So these were very key issues, key timing situations that are not coincidence. Regardless of what anybody wants to think, it's not coincidence. Thankfully, after 4 grueling hours in the hospital, being asked some of the most absolutely ludicrous questions, even the most healthy person would have difficulties keeping a straight face and answering properly. Dr. Odenigbo or something, I can't read the name, but he's only been here for a year. He's from across wherever, probably part of this Saskatchewan Immigrant Nominee Program, which also happened to be, I believe, what also brought Michael Okachi over to our beautiful province. That's neither here nor there. But after 4 hours of answering some pretty ridiculous questions, no matter how much I hated them or thought they were ridiculous, I had to answer them. If I refused to answer them, he would have the ability to lock me away for 3 weeks, up to 3 weeks. So I did what I could, cooperated, answered the questions, and thankfully he realized that I am not a threat to myself, nor others. I do not have or in his opinion, I do not display any possibility of diminishing mental health. He stated, matter of fact, that there are signs of paranoia. He goes, but if what you're stating is true, this is signs of a pretty disgusting mess of politics in Regina. And obviously, I said, and I appreciate your opinion, but I said, obviously, from an outsider's perspective, I can understand that, I can see that, I know that. This is why these people have been trying to put it out there, so that a generic person out there is going to think, what the hell? But, he said, if those things are fact, and I can tell you today they are fact, and they've been documented over and over and over again, and actually I'm working on getting that file back to the RPS today. It is, I can't exactly think of what the exact words were, but it was in generic terms, gross display of abuse of power and democracy that he has ever been witness to. And he's come from area where you can't trust the police. The police are not there to support you. They're there to make your life a living hell. So, I mean, with all due respect, I said to him, I said, I understand when you're coming here and you see the police or the police service that seem to be respectful and seem to be doing these and that and everything. And I'm sure they're light years ahead of where the police were from where you came from. However, we are not in a perfect world here. It is unfortunately a very fucked up world. It is a very flawed world, and our system is far too easily abused. I've discovered a lot this past week, and legislation will have to change. Not may, not needs to. It will have to change. I mean, the intention of this is great. It is to get people the treatment that they need without realizing it. However, it is obvious that it can be abused. Not only does it waste our tax dollars in the court systems because it has to go to a court, it has to go to a judge. It wastes tax dollars in terms of we had to have those 2 officers sitting in the hospital for 4 or 5 hours on Wednesday, needlessly coming to pull someone over in a peaceful neighborhood, making a gong show of what it looked like. I mean, I can only imagine what my neighbors think of me right now, and it really pisses me off because that's wrong. Nobody should have to be felt like a criminal in their own neighborhood, and I can only imagine that. I feel horrible for this. All of this money, all this time, I mean, they escorted me in fucking handcuffs. You saw the video. If you haven't seen the video, go onto my YouTube here and check out the video that I posted of the interaction. I mean, even the officers said that I was being very respectful. I was being very cooperative. There was no need other than the fact that they could put me in handcuffs and escort me to the hospital. They could have easily put me in the vehicle or what have you. That's the difference between a black and white law and interpretation and human interaction. When I interpreted and enforced the Income Tax and Excise Tax Acts as an auditor, you were encouraged to use your better judgment. You could enforce the letter of the law. You could say, hey, you didn't report a penny. We're going to report you. We're going to make you pay for that. Reasonableness comes into the what was the term that they used? What a reasonable person test, what a reasonable person would do. It's obvious, like a lot of the audits that we did were farmers. It's obvious that farmers are not out there, well, most of the time, not there just to screw you or screw the taxpayer. They're there focusing on farming. They're not there focusing on how can I make some extra money by fucking over the taxpayer. So you take that into account when you go in. Exact same situation here. You take into account how a person is treating you, how a person is reacting to you, all of those things. Or at least you should be. If you do not, it certainly puts into question the validity of even you being allowed to wear that badge, honestly. When I went into the station yesterday to get this other file reopened, Constable Tyler Raw had this, as great a guy as he is, he's straightforward, he's a straight shooter, but I couldn't believe he actually brought up, well, Chad, you praised these officers on Wednesday, and now you're coming in here telling me that you want to give them shit? I said, no, I want to get what I am legally entitled to, which is in the Mental Health Services Act. It states that I am entitled to get a copy of the warrant and the written reasons for the warrant, neither of which I was provided by the officers, neither of which I was provided from the hospital, and I had a hell of a time getting just a copy of this warrant yesterday. And there are supporting documents that I was provided at the hospital to inspect, but I was not allowed to keep a copy of. Staff Sergeant Gord Pilon claims that this is the only information they have in their records, and that's another situation where my lawyer will be taking care of that, and I will be taking care of that, and I will be getting that handled. Unfortunately, like I said, our system right now is really fucked up, and these people can do pretty much whatever they want. So, yeah, there's some real serious flaws with our entire justice system, our entire Mental Health Services Act, our entire provincial government. The last time that this Mental Health Services Act was updated, I believe it looks like 1986, 1993, I don't know, it's hard to tell from some of these things that states in there, who knows. Some of the things could be a very simple modification, a word. So the last true review, I'm going to guess, was probably in the 1980s. Needs an update. No question about it. Subsection 19.3 states specifically, no person shall falsely swear or affirm an information pursuant to subsection 1, which is to get the warrant to apprehend. In the warrant to apprehend, there's some clear false statements, which I said I will not get into here. But my own family knows these are false statements. I'm guessing they thought they could put it in here, hoping that it would convince a judge to say, look, he needs help. It would also convince a judge, and I'm guessing they were also told that they can give whatever they want without fear of being known that they would be the ones putting this out there. Well, it's kind of not rocket science, and this is the mentality of my baby sister, who's 37 years old this year, 36, but turning 37, that believes that I'm not going to get this information, I'm not going to be able to figure out. It comes from Moose Jaw, it's kind of an obvious thing. The ties to Brent Schulberg, it's disgusting. It is literally disgusting. However, like I've said, I could stoop to their level and do so many things to make sure that there's individuals in this city that could be locked up for 3 weeks for psychiatric evaluation and probably locked up for life because of what the results would be from those. However, I am not that kind of person. Against my better judgment, I really want to, but my wife encouraged me not to. Friends and family are telling me to do it. I am going to respect my wife's wishes and not pursue that avenue with these people. However, I will be pursuing criminal charges with criminal harassment with several individuals out there. I have the information ready to go, and these people seem to think that they're untouchable. They seem to think they can say whatever the fuck they want online without fear of repercussion, because they think, because I create a parody account, you don't know who I am, and yada yada yada. Well, the great part of it is Twitter has a policy to cooperate with law enforcement agencies, and you're dumb. You are probably the stupidest people in the world if you think that you can get away with half the stuff you say. This Chad Novak's mom character, I won't even get into specifics on what this sick person has said, but some of the things that he or she has said, I'm blown away that this would even be acceptable. I mean, the Regina police obviously are watching some of the Twitter interactions. They even admitted that to me yesterday. Do something about it. Don't make me do your fucking job for you and bring you, like, I'm bringing you 300 megabytes worth of screenshots over the last 2 months. I shouldn't have to get to that point. Nobody should have to get to that point of showing you this stuff. It's obvious that you know that this is going on, and if you don't, then you're not earning your $65 million annual budget. So anyways, here we are. We're close to the end of our broadcast today. I just wanted to make it clear that our Mental Health Services Act desperately needs updating, desperately needs to be changed. I feel very, very sad for individuals in the past that have had to deal with this mental health and politics. Dave Batters, I can't even imagine what he had gone through. He had been on a federal level. Unfortunately, he took his life, or at least that's what the public explanation is. I don't want to get into details because what's done is done. Our founding premier, Walter Scott, suffered from mental health for a long time. It eventually took his life in the 30s, I believe it was. I can only imagine what he went through over 100 years ago. I mean, we're light years ahead of where we were then. And even now, it's obvious that our our stigma is still that bad. I can only imagine what he went through back then. And I really, really, really feel sympathetic for that. Not counting those individuals out there that suffer from a mental illness and are too afraid to go public about it in politics. I have it under good authority that at least a few current and former elected officials municipally have suffered and continue to suffer from mental illnesses. And I feel for them. I will do everything in my power to get legislation changed so that they aren't ashamed of coming out of the closet, so to speak. If I can save one person's life, my job is done. You know, I mean, I'm not trying to make myself sound like some god, some whatever. But the fact of the matter is, I have a following like I have never even imagined. I have so much support out there from people. What happened on Wednesday has just exploded that. People that haven't talked to me for months online, they're going and they're asking, "Are you okay? Everything's all right? What happened?" And I explained it to them. They're like, "This is unfucking believable. This is literally a movie in the making." I have no words. I honestly, I mean, for someone that literally came out of nowhere, ran for a mayor's office, got 413 votes, and knew nothing about politics really, or at least how dirty it could get, to be taken this seriously, to be assaulted this often, to be parodied like they are, harassed. I'm just, honestly, I'm surprised. I'm flabbergasted. I'm honored that people would take me this seriously and put that much effort into destroying me. But I'm still surprised. I honestly, if these people continue to claim publicly that I am irrelevant and insignificant, then follow your words. Don't give me that support. Don't follow me. Don't harass me. Don't go against what you're publicly stating, saying that, oh, he's irrelevant and insignificant, but yet we're going to spend 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year to make him look like a jackass. And we're going to create parody accounts to do it. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to try and abuse the tax system to get you locked up. Who's the one with the need for a psychiatric evaluation? Sure as hell isn't me. So all I gotta say is thank you to everyone out there for your support, your continued support. I'm so sorry that I have to warn people that if you show public support of myself, you're gonna have to deal with harassment. My former employer got that way. My family got that way. Anybody that I try and show myself publicly with are getting that way. There's a person online, this YQR pipefitter, or whatever his newest handle name is. I mean, people legitimately think this guy is me. I'm telling you straight up, I do not hide behind parody accounts. I do not need to. I will tell you if your shit stinks. Under my name. I am not afraid of saying that. It's unfortunate that you have people out there that need to go under parody accounts or hidden names or whatever so that they can show their support and attack and harass and intimidate the same way you are to me, and yet they're too afraid to use their real identity because they don't want to be dealing with the stuff that I've dealt with. I'm hoping that gets changed very quickly. I've encouraged that person to change their name online to something more credible. Hopefully their real identity, but if they chose not to, at least be more respectful. The Taryn Cochran name, I'm honestly disgusted that person would do it, but that's their choice. Some of the things that person has said, I don't agree with. But again, that's their choice, and they're on social media, they can say whatever the fuck they want. So, I'm telling you straight up, I do not manage parody accounts. I do not manage any accounts that I have not publicly told you about online. I have my Queen City Cruising, I have my Pay It Forward YQR, I have my Chad for Regina, Cabin 76, Monster Nation 1, and Hot Wheels Novak. Those are my 5 accounts. I took the Hot Wheels Novak from the person that created it because I like the name. It's kind of cool. I'll use it one day. So, there you go. Anybody that is that demented to think that I would go and do these things, give your fucking head a shake. Anybody needs a psychiatric evaluation, it's you. So, have a great Regina Day, and don't worry. The stadium that you saw yesterday is not going to be reality. There's going to be, and this is the sad thing, is the only way these individuals take a hint is public pressure. And also competition. And I can guarantee you that they will be shaking their heads in just under 2 weeks when there's true competition for this stadium project. They're going to be embarrassed politically beyond belief that they're going to have no choice but to change their tune on this stadium that they've proposed, which, by the way, is no better than what we already have, other than it's being shiny and new. It has fewer seats, but yay, it has cup holders and armrests, kick-ass. And it has nicer bathrooms. I mean, that's worth $300 million, isn't it? Come on! Anyways, have a great Regina Day, everyone. We'll talk to you again soon. Thanks for tuning in.